years now where time stood still. Generations pass on the hill. Prosecutors come and go. Defense attorneys putting on a show. Old district attorney thought she was tight. Came in to visit her tonight. They said justice was blinded by her sins. As the trial spun, no one wins. Endless trial like a river flows. Truth and lies, nobody knows. Corruption split tight as a vice. In this endless trial we pay the price.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Foster O'Clock. That is the Young Thug trial. We are at day 93. We are fastly approaching day 100. We are also approaching 250 sidebar. So we will see if those can coincide. I don't think so. There's 38 sidebars and 7 trial days. It will be rough. It will be rough. Yeah, I know it. I chose a country song instead of this. I have. Let's see here. Where is it?
When I say I rise from the hall in the courtroom, so I'm ten will fall in my battle lines. I'll expose that you say, fucking lawyer, I won't accept defeat. Justice tremble as I enter the room. Corrupt prosecutors need they do. I'll fight for justice with all my might. In the name of all.
Yeah, I have heavy metal too. I like that Suno thingy. I say the words and Suno makes a song out of it. Yeah, but day 93. And if you saw the thumbnail, prosecution is opening their own door again. Prosecution is opening their own door. Now, generally, you in a trial setting cannot open your own door. It has to be the opposite side, either with a bad question or an unexpected answer. In this case, it is the prosecution has Woody on the stand, knowing he will lie. Still putting him on the stand, where he says, "Oh, I lied all the time back then and there, and yeah." And now they are claiming, well, now we should be able to watch all this other evidence, as in the actual interviews that for a week we have been hearing from Miss Hilton what was said in those interviews. And now, after a week, more than a week, we are supposed to look at the the police interviews. Let's just listen to it and see it with our own eyes. Yeah, welcome to the show, folks. All right, so we are getting right into what happened this morning. Of course, Judge Langville was late again, but when he started, no, what's going on here? No. Options, font color, green, there. All right, let's go ahead and listen to their claims.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, given Mr. Copeland's testimony last week, The state does intend to play his interviews beginning today until whenever those interviews finish, at least for the January 11th, January 28th, February 20th, and February 21st interviews. Last night, the state sent over redactions as it relates to the June 10th interview, which I believe defense counsel may have some portions that they also want to have redacted. And so the state would ask that we can move forward today with the first 4 interviews. We'll see where the day leads. And then tomorrow have some litigation if necessary regarding the June 10th interviews.
Are you talking about the interviews which occurred where?
Back in 2015 at Atlanta Police Department, which the state believes could enter based on Mr. Copeland's testimony that everything he said in those interviews were lies, that he said anything that he wanted to say in order to get out of that interview, that we are impeaching him by contradiction and playing those statements. We will begin with the January 11th statements, and then we're going to move to the February 20th statement. And the reason why
January 11th and then February 20th, and those are 2015?
Those are both in 2015. And the reason why we're going to start with those, Your Honor, we believe those two have the least amount of information that the defense may argue. So I think that those are easier to get through.
Friday.
The January 28th and the February 21st interviews, both of 2015, may have some more redactions that defense counsel may want. And so we're open to hearing what, if anything, they want redacted. So we can either consent to some things or have some litigation about that. But we're going to start with what I believe to be the easier interviews, which will be January 11th and February 20th. And then we'll move to January 28th, February.
She's talking as if this is a done deal. That she actually believes that she had laid all the foundations, that this is necessary at all, that according to statute, she would be allowed to. But then again, look who she's talking to. Judge Glanville, who will approve of anything at this point in time.
21st and then June 10th of 2015.
Okay. All right, let me hear from any defense counsel about the state's plan to play the January 11th and February 20th interviews.
So,
Short.
good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir.
So there's a couple things. Regarding just playing past interviews, it's going to be my stance on behalf of Mr. Stillwell and probably others that the foundation for prior inconsistent statements has not been laid in toto for the entire interviews to be played. Now, there may be specific snippets, but just to play the interview, we do not believe that the proper foundation has been laid. That being said, if the interviews are played, I understand what the state is saying, and Ms. Hilton communicated with me this morning, and I appreciate that. The first 2 interviews,
First 2 interviews, and tell me what date those are.
January 11th
and February 20th?
February 20th.
Okay. All right.
So
But he was busy.
those
squealing.
are interviews, and quite honestly, I've been focusing on the June 10th. I would ask that the defense have a little time just to look at those transcripts to just make sure, if Your Honor is going to allow those interviews to be played over our objection or over our hearsay objection, to just make certain that there's nothing in those interviews that should not be played, that would fail 403 balancing, character evidence, etc. As we look forward, just for planning purposes, I have not, we were just sent the proposed redactions in a form that we could open them from the state. The June 10th interview, if it's allowed, is very problematic as far as Mr. Copeland talking about things he doesn't have personal knowledge of, talking about hearsay, bad character. It's just a very.
I think they want to litigate that separately.
Well,
so tell me about they're saying it's going to take a minute to get through the June 11th and February 20th interviews.
And I understand that. All I'm saying is I'm just trying to give Your Honor a heads up that the June 10th, there may be a substantial amount of time that we may be asking for your attention outside the presence of the jury. I'm just trying to give the court a heads up on that.
Okay, but
Yeah.
so when I think the state says that too. So
Okay.
there's
So
a disagreement about that.
So the first 2 interviews, I would just ask that the defense team be allowed. I don't know if the state is planning on going into it right now. If they are, I would ask that we be given some time to just review it, because we were not anticipating this morning, and just comparing our notes to see if we have any objections.
Well, I think that, let me just correct you, Mr. just a second. Friday, the state did tell you that they planned on playing those 2, at least they planned on playing those particular interviews in total for impeachment. They said that up at the bench on Friday. So So you had all weekend to kind of go through that if that were the case. It's not like they're playing hide the ball. It's not like, given the current testimony so far, that wouldn't be probably a realistic possibility.
Well, I mean, we do have our objections, or I have my objections to that. But again, Your Honor, I would just ask that the defense attorney be allowed to huddle up and figure out, because I'm up here, but I'm not necessarily speaking for everyone, and I'd like the opportunity to communicate with counsel for the other defendants.
How long you had the January 11th interviews? You had them, when were they?
Probably, I mean, it's not, Judge, just to be clear, it's not a matter that I haven't watched them. I probably watched them 24 times,
Okay.
but it's just a matter of having the transcript pages where there's problematic issues.
Okay. Unless you,
And again, Your Honor, I haven't looked at what the state's redactions are. They sent something at 11 o'clock last night with proposed redactions. It wouldn't open, so they resent it this morning, probably, 20 minutes ago. So I haven't had a chance to look at their proposed redactions.
And you're to be clear, the redactions are for the June 10th interview.
See.
The state believes that, again, for the January 11th and February 20th, we don't have any redactions for those two. But again, we're open to hear.
For you who don't know, these police interviews are, I believe, are from 90 minutes up to 9 hours in length, if they choose to play everything without taking the pauses and when they leave the interview room for an hour and a half and stuff like that. 5 of them. I mean, that would be rest of the week. It's so stupid. Hi, Christine. Katie's here. Frank Otter, Blue Ski TV. Dave Umberger, Dali, and everybody else. Welcome to the Foster Clock. Oh.
let me ask you another question. Mr. Sharks indicated that he doesn't believe that the foundation has been laid for prior inconsistent statements. You want to address that?
Yes, Sean, we're not asking to bring this in for prior inconsistent statements. We're asking to bring it in under 24-6-607 and 24-6-621, which is impeachment by contradiction.
I don't remember is not impeachment by contradiction. I was lying back then is not impeachment by contradiction either. That they have laid no foundation for either. Whether he says, I don't remember, I don't recall, or he was lying all the time back then. He is not given actual answers, more than a handful for this entire week that might contradict something he said back then. He is saying he lied back then. That's it. Yeah, prior statements aren't sworn, as it's Trinton says. It's not subject. I mean, it's so infuriatingly stupid. This is the prosecution opening their own door. They put him on the stand knowing he would lie on the stand. And so they're opening their own door, which you're not allowed to. That is like, oh no, you didn't. Because you can only open the door if the other party opens it for you. But we are here with the prosecution and this judge, so yeah.
In which a witness may be impeached by contradiction in several ways, either closed questioning, and I'm reading, Your Honor, from Carlson's on evidence, page 265, 8th edition, page 265. A witness may be impeached by contradiction in several ways, closed questioning to elicit concessions of error, 2, questioning the witness about the substance of implication of evidence already produced during the case, confronting the witness with his or her own contradictory prior statements. And that's what I want to focus on, Your Honor. Mr. Copeland testified repeatedly during trial last week that everything he said in those interviews was a lie, that he was just saying whatever he wanted to say in order to get out of there, that the officers were pressuring him to speak about Thug, that in the first interview, he did not come down there on his own. He only came at the request of law enforcement. And we believe each of these interviews contradict everything that he testified to in before this jury, Your Honor. So we believe that at this point, it is right to show impeachment by contradiction.
Well, and if there's certain things that are said that indicate that the officers did not pressure him about quote unquote Thug or things like that, that may be fall under contradiction, but playing the whole video, it's like they're saying he said he lied, and we're bringing this to as contradiction, evidence of contradiction. But that would be assuming that he's telling the truth in that interview. It doesn't in and of itself facially contradict anything he's saying. He's just saying he lied.
Ordinarily, you'd be right. It would be impeached as to specific things. The challenge in this particular circumstance is that Mr. Copeland's repeatedly said, I lied about everything. And I lied I told a lie as to.
Exactly. He lied about everything. And Miss Hilton quoted from the interviews. So technically, the jury has already heard what was said in the interviews. So it's unnecessary. It's more prejudicial than probative. It doesn't hold up in a normal court. This is not a normal court. This is a courthouse where the prosecution and the judge collude to get a conviction.
As to what would get me out of this. So I think under those circumstances, this is kind of the broadening of it because of his testimony. The entirety of that particular interview is probably going to be admissibly delayed. Respectfully, over your objection.
I understand, but this is a problem that was created by the state, and they're trying to.
Just slow down. How did the state make this a problem when the witness testified, not just once, but.
Well, Judge, you were in the room during that secret ex parte meeting where apparently he said he was going to lie on the stand, which you are a possible witness to, Your Honor. So, it's infuriating to see this judge gaslighting as if the ex parte meeting never happened. Everybody involved know that happened. But so it's just theater now. This is judge playing the role of a judge in a bad drama. Or even in a bad drama, he would be in jail by the end of it. But this is sadly real life.
Repeatedly over the last several days that he has lied about these particular interviews. He was lying because he wanted to get out of this. He told these people anything that he thought that would work. And so that's kind of the predicate. Ordinarily, sir, I would agree. I would totally agree with you. But I don't think the state set this particular witness up for that particular saying. He said it more than once.
Okay, I'd like to answer your question about how the state set this up. We know that the state met with Kenneth Copeland. 2 weeks ago now? We know we were arguing about whether his attorney was alerted, etc. They met with him, I guess, in the court.
And here is why Mr. Short is an excellent lawyer. He knows he can't bring up the ex parte meeting because then the judge will throw a tantrum and possibly him in jail. So here's another angle.
Courthouse, I don't know. We know that they met with him. Unlike every other witness, they've done this with several of the people that are alleged to be associates of our clients. They have been asking about statements from 10 years ago, and they intentionally have not afforded these witnesses an opportunity to review their past statements prior to testifying. So they want to play their past statements. They want, I don't recall. And so they bring these gentlemen in, ask them about statements that were made 10 years ago, and have never given them an opportunity. We know that the state, they're thorough. We know typically in trial, when the state is calling a witness, they say, hey, we want you to come into our office. We want you to sit down and review what you said in the past. And they do that regularly in trial prep. They have chosen not to do that for Kenneth Copeland. They chose not to do that for Trontavious Stevens. They have chosen to keep these gentlemen in the dark and then ask them questions about statements they allegedly made 10 years ago. And when the gentlemen say, I don't recall, which is pretty understandable, they say, we get to get in their prior inconsistent statements. We get to get into impeachment by contradiction. That was their choice. They should have let these gentlemen review their statements before taking the stand, and we probably would be in a different place. So that's why I'm saying this is a bit a situation that they created. It was strategic by the state, and they shouldn't benefit from it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna respond to that.
Madam?
No.
Yeah.
I agree. This is the state opening the door for themselves, which shouldn't be allowed. But
No, yeah, go ahead.
Your Honor, Mr. Shar keeps addressing, again, prior inconsistent statements. What we expect for any of our witnesses to do is come in here and tell the truth about what they remember happening in 2015, given why they're here. What Mr. Copeland
Oh, really? So why are you so adamant in showing all the other witnesses videos of their statements? Why? Why is that? Isn't that weird?
said is everything I said was a lie. So at this point, Your Honor, it's not about, he literally saying everything I said is a lie. I told them lies back in 2015 just to get out of trouble. And what we are saying now is we don't believe that to be true. The jury can make an assessment based on.
Judge, we are the prosecution. We believe this guy lied under oath on the stand. So we want to play these videos. That is essentially what she's saying. They are saying he lied under oath on the stand and has been doing it for a week. Well, then you have an ethics problem here. If you know he's going to lie and that he has lied, why? Yeah, the only reason is because they hope it will make the defendants look bad. That's their hope.
His trial testimony and what he said previously, and determine by his body language, by how he testified, by how he spoke to law enforcement, about what was asked of him, how he responded, whether or not they believe that everything he said previously is contradicted by how he acted in court. And so again, Your Honor, Mr. Shar is focusing on prior inconsistent statements. Again, we're impeaching by contradiction, meaning what he said in court is distinguishable from what he said previously in 2015, one, outside of the presence of these individuals, and how he testified, which was that line of questioning that we asked of Mr. Copeland.
Okay. Anybody else wish to be heard on this issue? Mr. Steele? You can come to the podium, sir, if you'd like. Maybe it'll be easier for you, but.
Now, this goes back and forth. Remember, this is a recap of what happened this morning. The judge says he will review the records so he can see how many times he actually said, I lied then, and different questions, different everything. And then something really, really interesting happens. So let's skip forward to that bit.
All right, Ms. Weaver's had a chance to review in a cursory manner the current transcript or testimony of Mr. Copeland. We're not finding anything that comports with what the state said in terms of everything I said was.
Gigi asked Nick, why didn't they get these interviews in with the detective first? Because that would take only half a day in court. It's much more fun to waste an entire week. I don't know.
It's a lie. All right. The closest that I have, and I'll include this, is her email to me as the next court's exhibit. Question: do you recall telling Detective Dennis and Gaither that I wouldn't want anybody around me but Little D? Answer: I probably said that because I was trying to run a play on them, but I don't remember what was said. Question back in. Anytime they question me, like I said, you keep asking me about what I supposed to have told them. Anytime they question me, I said whatever came to mind or whatever I thought of in that split second. So I don't know what I said to them. Question: do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis, quotation mark, I really must have my trust in him, close quotation mark, speaking about Little D? Answer: you said I really had my trust in him? Question: yes, yeah. Answer: no, man, go ahead. Question: and that Little D ain't never going to turn his back on me? Answer: I told you I was trying to tell them whatever they would have went for because yeah. Question: you recall telling detectives in those interviews that you were just trying to get out of jail, so I'm going to tell you all what happened so you can check it and I can get out of jail? Answer: yeah. I told the investigators what I remember. I think in one of the interviews, they was locking me up and my child's birthday was coming. And when they got me, I said, listen, man, whatever you all want me to say, I will tell you right now. Just tell me what to say and I'll say it.
Yeah, that is Woody telling the cops, just tell me what to say and I will say it. And later on, magically, he says what they want him to say. So that is not really impeachment. That is, why aren't these cops charged with illicit false testimony? Why aren't these cops charged with witness tampering? The answer is in the questions. These cops.
Tell me what you all want to know and I will tell you. So if they would have asked me about President Trump, I would have told a story about Trump. If they would have asked me about you, I would have had a story about you. Whatever to convince them that I ain't doing nothing, it wasn't me that's what my intention was. So when you're asking me about interviews, I keep telling you, you keep asking me step by step, by step, by step, by step, by step, by step, by step. This is what I did. When they got me on this day, I was going to jail. I tried to come up with something to tell them. That's why I can't tell you what I said. I was making it up.
Yes, Judge.
State, unless you've got something more specific, it looks like from looking at 607, it allows for the admission of intrinsic evidence to impeach specific errors or falsehoods in the witness's testimony on direct examination. So it's more so.
As the judge actually says correctly here, you can't just say, oh, I was lying about everything. You need to be specific. Let's hear what.
They give the case of United States versus, this is in Carlson, Antonias, and that's Antonokeas. And this particular accused was charged with legal narcotics offenses. And when he testified, he made sweeping statements about disavowing any involvement with drugs. So the government provided testimony that from somebody that had sold him cocaine on or they asked him about it. Sold him cocaine on 2 occasions. So if you open the door, I don't think, which is what I think you're trying to tell the court, but I don't think it's quite broad enough. I haven't found anything in the transcript that indicates that what you said, everything I said was a lie. That's broad, and we'll probably open that up, but I haven't found anything. I think you're going to have to probably pare down your examination or rethink what you want to do in terms of 607.
But Your Honor, when he says in court, I was making it all up, that is.
Because I was making it up.
I was making it up, meaning everything that he told law enforcement back then in order to get out of whatever he was doing, I was making it up. We don't believe he was making it up. We believe that he was being truthful in those interviews. And so when he comes in court and says, I was making it up, meaning I was saying anything in that interview room in order to get out.
And MG Law is here. The difference is, in the case cited, there was another witness used to contradict, not playing the interview. Exactly. Get another witness as call Detective Gautier back on the stand. Please. Oh, that Detective Gautier who was on the stand, what was it, 2 or 3 months ago? Absolutely incompetent. Absolute incompetence. Absolute incompetence. Remember, after she retired, after 19 years, not even 20 years in the force, she got a job at Cobb County District Attorney's Office as an investigator. She was there for 3 months before she got the option, either you quit or you're fired. She was that incompetent. AMD Law. Oh, what a faster clock.
Of custody or to get out of that interview, then everything I'm saying isn't true. Because that's what he's saying. I was making it up. That's what he told his jury, that everything I said back in 2015, I was making it up.
Let me read the last sentence, 2 sentences again. Okay, let me just kind of think about it. So you're asking me about interviews, and I keep telling you, you keep asking me step, and there's like 7 by steps. It's by step, by step, by step, by step, by step, by step, by step. This is what I did. When they got me on this day, I was going to jail. I tried to come up with something to tell them. That's why I can't tell you what I said. I was making it up.
Right. And so we don't believe he was just making it up. We believe that's what he's telling this jury. And so the jurors can see his demeanor in all of the interviews. They can assess whether or not they think he was making it up or not. But at this juncture, what he's saying is anything I told the police back in 2015, I was just saying it. I was making it up. And at this point, the jurors can either believe right now what he's saying, or they can look at what he told detectives back in 2015, how he said it to detectives in 2015, who all was in the room with him in 2015, and make a determination, is what he's saying in court contradicted by what we see in these prior interviews with him. So that is the contradiction, Your Honor. I was making it up. It's a complete contradiction to what he was doing in those interviews in 2015. So that is, maybe he didn't say I lied, but he said I was making it up. That is, I wasn't telling the truth. Now the jurors can look at interviews to determine whether or not they believe, was he making it up just to get out of trouble, or was he being...
There's a reason why lie detectors aren't useful in court, because you can't determine if somebody's lying or not based on body language. That is why we have the oath and everything in court. That's why. And if you believe he's lying on the stand, charge him with perjury.
Truthful in 2015 when he made those statements to law enforcement, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Sharp, or Mr. Bless you.
God bless you.
Yes, MG Law, that's prior inconsistent statements and not impeachment by contradiction. Yes, but they can't use inconsistent statements, and that is why they're using impeachment by contradiction, which they can't. They are trying to open their own door by, they know he's going to lie. He said so in the meetings with the prosecution. They still put him on the stand. They asked him all these questions. He said, back then I made stuff up just to get out of it. And now they want to play the interviews as in opening their own door. And it's infuriating.
Mr. Sharp or Mr. Steele, gentlemen.
Oh, and additionally, Your Honor, I believe he said, and I would think we had to look at the January 11th interview. When we questioned him about January 11th, he said...
Here's what is another thing that infuriates me. The judge have heard their statements. He could make a ruling then and there if they want to make him change his mind. File a motion. Excuse him on the stand. Go to something else. Have him come back after you handle that motion. But no, they whine and bitch until he changes his mind, which is more or less what he's asking of them now.
And I'm looking at notes, but we would ask the court reporter to confirm. I don't remember anything that I told Detective Thorpe at all. And so again,
an impeachment by contradiction incorrectly.
We believe that he's being contradicted about what he's saying in court versus what he said in 2015.
Okay. Ms. Sharp?
I think you have it exactly right, Judge. These rules are not so broad as to just allow hours-long statements in based on specific denials. The idea that I think you also should consider is within your purview to consider the gamesmanship.
I'm going to stop you. I don't think that anybody's playing and running games in terms of that.
Well, I think
I respectfully disagree with you about that. Okay?
So you don't think that they specifically chose not to show this gentleman his videos so he would not recall things when asked about 10-year-old statements?
I don't think that any self-righteous advocate worth their salt is not going to prepare a witness. I don't believe you.
Judge is actually completely correct. No lawyer worth its name and its bar card would ever do this. But we already know the prosecution lies, cheats, and when it comes to the ex parte meeting, violates fundamental rights.
would do that. I don't believe anybody would do
Well,
that.
why hasn't he seen the videos?
I don't know, sir. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And I don't know what their prep entails. But again, we're not going into, ad hominem attacks against anybody. Okay.
It's not an attack. I just think it was strategy, and they shouldn't benefit from the strategy. I'm not making a personal attack. I mean,
No, but there are pros and cons about how witnesses are prepped. So, I certainly,
right.
I certainly think that is something that, has to be taken into account depending upon the witness and depending upon the circumstances.
But they're trying to say just because he doesn't remember, recall, or denies specific parts, somehow this opens up the entire statement based on, well, the jurors should get to see his demeanor. And again, they can see his demeanor on the specific part that is being impeached. Impeachment
but I'm concerned about this last couple statements because he says, when you're asking me about interviews, that's broad. He's saying in these interviews that I have been undergoing, I keep telling you keep asking me step by step, seven that this is what I did. So when they got me this day, I was going to jail. I tried to come up with something to tell them. That's why I can't tell you what I said. I was making it up.
In my observations, he's frustrated because he doesn't understand the rules of evidence. He doesn't understand that the state was trying to lay a foundation for prior inconsistent statements. But just because he's frustrated and doesn't answer the question, and it, quite honestly, is non-responsive, that doesn't mean the foundation was laid. They still have to lay the foundation.
The impeachment or the prior inconsistent statement is a collateral consequence of what the witness testifies to.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Jesus Christ, you can't pick. This is using impeachment and contradiction as the, what you call it? He jumps between the arguments to show it, to justify how to show it. No, it's either or. If you can't apply that rule over on that side, and vice versa, it's either or. You can't just bundle it together and then pick, well, here is something I could use in either or. No, that's not how. Jesus Christ Almighty. This is so bad. This is so bad. But here's the thing. I have a law degree. I see what's going on. I've been working with law for over 30 years. I see what's going on. And I see you in the chat. You also, but you have been watching me for a year now about this case, some of you. So me educating you and you also educating me, this is a conclusion we have come to. This is a fustercluck. And the jury, they don't get to see all of this. They don't get to see when he makes these absolute horrific decisions. They only see him as the friendly face who is so sorry the trial is so long. They don't see this. And that is scaring the absolute bejesus out of me. That they don't see what we see.
If the witness gives pretty straightforward testimony, then there's no need to go into any of the other things about prior inconsistent statements or impeachment by contradiction. It doesn't come into play because there won't be anything for them to kind of bring out. So it depends on the testimony of the witness as to whether or not we even broach the subjects of impeachment or by any means or method.
And what I think maybe the advocates aren't doing the best job conveying to your honor. The first two statements are pretty straightforward, okay? But as we move on, these statements are very wide.
Are you talking about the statements on January the 11th and February 20th?
They're pretty straightforward and pretty compartmentalized, fairly compartmentalized about what they talk about. I'm going to use June 10th as an example because, I mean, this is going to come up again and again.
Okay, but I don't want to talk about June 10th.
Well, I don't want to set a precedent
we haven't kind of covered that. I have a jury that's sitting out here.
Yeah, I understand where Mr. Short is going here. If the videos are allowed in as evidence, then the prosecution can use them as they see fit. If they don't put a halt to these videos now, everything will come in later. Every bad statement he does in these interviews. And why do I believe that? Because it has happened before in this trial, where they got evidence in on a limited basis, but then a month later they are referencing that piece of evidence. The defense objects, says, but it was only in for a limited subject, and the prosecution says it's in evidence, Your Honor, and the judge goes hum. Yeah, it's in evidence. They can use it as they see fit. That is what Mr. Short is trying to prevent now.
I want to kind of see if I can go forward with that.
Okay, well-
So that's my intent at this point in time, is to see whether or not I can make an agreement, or not make an agreement, but I can make a decision as to whether I'm going to allow the state to play these two interviews.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to make it clear to Your Honor.
We can go into argument about that, because even the state has told me that we probably will need to have some discussion
Okay.
about that.
I don't,
okay?
Your Honor's going to rule. I agreed with Your Honor's analysis initially. Your Honor's going to rule how Your Honor rules. I just want to be clear that all of these statements are not the same, and any decisions made about the first statements should not be.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the
precedent.
first two
I got
right
you.
now. Okay, so
So
whether or
I'm
not
going to
they
stand
fall-
by my objection on hearsay grounds.
Sure.
And I think I speak for all my co-counsel or co-defendant counsel regarding that. And Your Honor will just, it's a call that you're going to make, and we're going to have to deal with it, but that's our stance.
Mr. Steele, anything else, sir? Okay, all right.
And we agree, Your Honor.
Anyone else? Mr. Harvey? Yeah.
I, at this point, renew my motion for severance and for a 105 instruction. None of this relates to Mr. Nichols.
Okay.
So I know you gave me a continuing objection. I want to renew it every now and then when
Sure.
we get into a position where there is a great deal of evidence that's coming in, none of which impacts Mr. Nichols.
All right, sir. So noted. Your motion for severance and your 105 request for a 105 instruction. Still going to deny it. I'll give you a continuing objection.
For you who wondered, okay, what was that? Because there's a lot of you for my channel. There's a lot of you here now. Mr. Harvey, first of all, he is, to my knowledge, he is the highest paid lawyer in that room. Now, Mr. Harvey has an extremely high rate because he really doesn't want to take bad cases. But once he takes a case, he lowers the rate. That is to my understanding. He is well respected, and Mr. Nichols, who he represents here, is mentioned once in this entire indictment and RICO trial. He's mentioned once, and the judge refuses to have his case severed from the others, but because here he's running the risk of being charged, being more or less guilty by association, which of course is RICO in its essence, guilty by association. But he's only mentioned once. Come on, judge, this is stupid. Yeah, he has his own court rule named after him, as in the Harvey rule, which means if there are more than one defendant and one or more lawyer who represents them, or more than one lawyer who represents them, then if one objects to a specific, if one motion is laid, then all agrees unless they opt out, and that is to save time. So yes, he has his own court rule named after him. So this man is well respected and has been for decades.
All right. State, were you going to say something else, madam?
We agree as to the February 28th, January 28th, February 21st, and June 10th. We will probably need to have some litigation. That's why the state just solely wanted to focus on first January 11th and February 20th.
All right.
Oh, the prosecution whined and bitched, and then we get to see video.
So you have any case law you'd like me to rely upon? Either the defendants, defense counsel as well. Is there any case law you'd like me to look at?
And since there are 250 of you here, have you all hit the thumbs up? If you haven't, now's the time. Well, it's time all the time, but please do. YouTube loves interaction. Asking, thumbs up, comment in the chat and stuff like that.
However, the state will pull case law directly on point with this assertion, Your Honor.
Did you hear that? Up until this point in their argument towards the court, they actually haven't shown case law on their position, and he's still. Yeah, I haven't seen that case, but I trust MD Law when he says that the first case she cites doesn't help her position at all. I would assume so, but here's the thing: it doesn't matter anymore. The prosecution knows Judge Glanville could more or less sit at the prosecution's table, and he could have sat there this entire trial because he will allow stuff. And it's so incompetence. I mean, remember, this judge does not know the difference between civil contempt and criminal contempt. How do you not know that after being a judge for over a decade? How do you not know the difference between civil and criminal contempt? It is so incompetent.
Here's the challenge that I'm kind of coming into. It's 607 allows for the admission of to impeach specific errors or falsehoods in a witness's testimony. So it's not really broad. It's kind of
Right, and so
it's focused. Okay, so
and we're looking at that in conjunction with 24-6-621, which is impeachment by contradiction, Your Honor.
All right.
You're combining two statutes to make an argument that this should be allowed. No, if that statute doesn't agree, off it fucks. If that forks YouTube. I said forks as in knife and spoon and fork. Nothing else. It's the accent. It's the accent YouTubes. It makes my words sound like something they're not. Where was I? Yeah, you can't. If one statute doesn't agree, it's gone. You can't combine two statutes to get Jesus Christ. You're welcome.
24-6-621 states that the witness may be impeached by disproving the facts testified to by the witness. So when he says in court, I was just making it up, we believe that we can now show this interview, these two interviews specifically, that he's not just making it up, anything that he says. We talked specifically in a February 20th interview about snitching. And he says, Tay's not the one who shot me. Matter of fact, he emphatically says, I know right now.
Impeachment by contradiction requires specificity as well. Yeah, they all call for specificity. He can't just say, I lied about everything. Okay, let's play everything. No, you need to pin it down. And they don't.
He may swore his daughter's life that Tay did not shoot him. However, in the February 20th interview, he tells his girlfriend in a private conversation, not private, but in a conversation between the two of them, I know who shot at me. It was Ted. And so we questioned him about that instance as well, in conjunction with what happened with him, his daughter, and his child's mother. So again, both the January 11th interview as well as the February 20th interview is a complete contradiction to what.
No. Then only the jailhouse call. Now you have three contradictive statements. At what point does it reach the level with, this guy is simply a liar, nothing he says can be trusted? But the state says, well, the statement he did that we want to be true, that you should feel is true. But he is a complete liar. Yeah, that private conversation would be a prior inconsistent statement, but they don't want that jailhouse call. They want the interview. Yeah, that's something specific. Then play that part. And then the defense can contradict that with, haven't you said you killed Donovan Thomas? They don't even have to reference the in-chamber meeting, the illegal ex parte meeting. They should just ask him, haven't you stated elsewhere that you killed Donovan Thomas?
He has said on this
They
thing.
should be able, but
last
it will
week,
be objected to and it will be sustained. And then judge will throw another tantrum.
Excuse me. All right. Based upon OCGA 24-607, 24-6.
Well, then it's cumulative. If they have the original, as in the original jailhouse call or whatever, then the interview isn't needed because then it becomes cumulative.
(621) in the court's review of the witnesses, Mr. Copeland's testimony thus far. I'm going to allow the state over objection to play the interviews on January the 11th of 2015 and February the 20th of 2015. I will give all defendants a continued objection as relates to those two interviews. Those are the only two we'll take up at this point in time. And then, as we mentioned, we'll take up the other ones a little bit later. Okay.
I do have a case for the record.
Before they testify. All right.
The case is going to be United States versus Carthen, Carthen, 906.
Is it 11th Circuit case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you spell that again?
Yes, United States versus Carthen, Carthen,
CRTH?
Carthen.
It says it decided January of 2013?
2018.
2018. All right. You need to give me the citation. Go ahead.
Sure, 906.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Federal Third, 1315. God bless you.
That is also a case that it's a robbery among 3 people, and they used, if I read that correctly, I'm just skimming through really, really fast, and it seems like they are using these 3 against each other to say, well, contradictory statements. So it's still not applicable. I'm of the opinion that and I've seen this in other cases, that if you need something to be applied to your case, it must be identical or more very, very similar. That's not similar.
And has impeachment by contradiction occurs when a party offers evidence to prove that a fact to which a witness testified is not true.
I'm sending that over to you, MG Law, and maybe you can take a look at it and say if I'm wrong or right. I will send you a link as well if you have the time. If you don't know who MG Law is, he is a US-based lawyer who I believe does criminal law. So this is his wheelhouse. Yeah, spiritual war exposed. None of their case law ever had. Yeah, sometimes they have case law that actually applies, but then the defense is using this. Well, look, the next chapter or the next paragraph. In order, this prosecution has met probably one of the
Where in Carthon you're
a few of the best defense attorneys in this country, and all of a sudden that shows their true incompetence and the judge's incompetence.
906 F 1315, is that what you're saying?
Yes, and let me see that.
Oh, the jury sat down November 25, I want to say. So they have been in there for quite some time now. Skip ahead. And here's the thing.
Okay, 608
I say that a
get
lot.
you there. You're saying it's
I say that a
621?
lot. Here's the thing. But the prosecution have wanted these particular videos in for a long time. And now they are sitting down to check out case law? Now? This should be, boom, here it is. Boom, here it is. And while you're at it, boom, here it is. Instead, let me research. I need to check with ChatGPT or something like that. And the judge scolded Shard for not having redactions ready? Yeah. Anna Davis, I need Harvey on this. He would have schooled the judge and the state. Yeah. Mr. Harvey had an amazing Second Amendment hearing in one of the last hearings before the trial started. For a good half hour, he schooled the judge on Second Amendment law in order to get the gun charges out. And it was amazing to listen at. But the judge ruled against him. When I get to Atlanta in August, if I have the opportunity, I want to sit down with Mr. Harvey, have a drink of his choice, and just listen to him. I mean, he's that good. He don't speak much, but I believe he is one of few lawyers in that court, in the defense, that the judge actually doesn't interrupt that much.
Because a majority of circuits, I believe on the all right. Bless you, Mr. Weinstein. When's your replacement coming? Not soon enough. Okay, all right. Hang in there. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm Brown.
Yeah, Mr. Weinstein have gotten ill. He's waiting for his replacement so he can get home and cure himself. That is why he's having the mask and stuff.
Come on, George, please.
Yep. And here comes the jurors. We need to see Woody. I think Woody ran out of F's to give. No, Woody still don't have.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, thank you, Sergeant Brown. Members of the jury, good morning. All right, we've had some business we need to take up, so appreciate you being patient with us with the delay. Mr. Copeland, good morning, sir. Good morning. All right, sir, you're still under oath. All right, Ms. Hilton, you may proceed when ready.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get back up to 1.5 speed.
Good morning, Mr. Copeland.
Good morning.
You have permission to approach?
No. She's asking me that, Mr. Copeland, okay? All right.
Okay.
Councilors, you want to take,
Permission to approach? No. No, I don't think Melnick is there. As far as I know, anyways.
look at what Council for State is going to show you.
We don't know if Melnick is actually on vacation. All we know is that he had a trip abroad. It could be anything. He could have a hair transplant. He might be transitioning. He might be having cancer treatment. We don't know. Or he could be on vacation. I have no clue. We will find out when he gets back. And I'm quite sure he will be mad. There he goes. Get over here.
Mr. Copeland, I'm showing you what's been marked as 378 Yankee Alpha Uno and Yankee Alpha. Can you please look at both of those? Looking at 378 Yankee Alpha 1, do you see yourself in this image?
Yes.
All right. And as we talked about last week, you recall going into an interview at the Atlanta Police Department the night that Nut died.
I don't recall.
Looking at this interview, you see the dates of January 11, 2000 and 2015 on this.
Yes.
You're right, this time say like the 10 to 6 to 378 Yankee Alpha and Yankee Alpha 1 and 7.
Yankee Alpha and Yankee Alpha 1.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any further objection to states 378 Yankee Alpha or Yankee Alpha 1, other than has it been stated already? All right. It's
It's already right there.
I'm sorry. It's admitted, maybe published as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Published as you see fit. Just so you know, I will continue this stream until 3 p.m. Then I have to go because I have to go up in the middle of nowhere and hold a negotiation tomorrow. Because 3 p.m. your time is 9 p.m. my time. I have to be up at 4 a.m. and be in the car at 5 a.m. to be where I need to be at 8 a.m. So I will give you another 55 minutes or so. I hope we will get through as much as possible during.
And Your Honor, we're going to fast forward to 2:59:18 when the interview begins.
Oh, great. Interviewing time.
Or we'll start at 2:58:34.
I got the moment.
Sure. Yes. Madam, you're playing two, just for the record, you're playing what?
Well, we start at 2:58:34.
Which exhibit?
This is 398 Yankee
Oh, yes,
Alpha.
you know, take it.
278.
You got this to this?
Can you do it?
If you talk to me ways, how you get my attention.
When you gonna talk, then I'm talking to his family, okay? And let his family put it out. But please speak to him one thing at a time, okay, Ken? One thing at a time, all right? I know, man, it's frustrating. He's not gonna stop, okay? the brother don't, cause I don't know what I did to this man, bro. He won't, I've been face to him, bro. I shook his hand like he's over it, bro. He's not beating no more, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why you gonna sit down, you gonna tell me what's going on between you and him, and then you'll go from there. Okay. We're gonna have to answer the date. What you mean? When I go here, okay. So, I'm gonna take care of that, but like I said, get the family, his family, to tell them to leave you alone. If they ain't got no proof showing that you did anything, they need to leave you the fuck alone. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. All right. Today's date is January 10th, 2015. Time is approximately 0300 hours at 3 o'clock a.m. I'm here with Mr. Kenneth Copeland. Yes. And Mr. Copeland, can you give me your date of birth, sir? July 25th, 1991. July 25th, 1991? Yes. Okay. You got the middle name, Mr. Copeland? Xavier. Xavier. Okay. This is a reference to the homicide investigation of victim name of Donovan Thomas. It happened at 330 McDaniel Street, Southwest, City Line, Fulton County, State of Georgia, on January 9th, 2015, with another police case number 150102106. When you're ready, Mr. Copeland, tell me exactly what you know dealing with this situation.
So they were more or less round in, bring in the usual suspect and see what they have to say. Okay. I thought they needed a reason to call somebody in, but apparently they did that in Atlanta around 2015. Bring them in, all the usual suspects, and see what they are going to do.
Like now, we got everything. Tell me everything. What makes people want to pull you into this situation? Okay. Me and Kale. You know what I'm saying? Man, we had a problem in the club. Is that him? No, this nothing. Okay. Kale, they say this is little brother, but I thought you just changed it, but they say the real brothers. Kale. K-E-L. K-E-L. Kale. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Little brother of that. Yes. Who you identified from the picture, which is Donovan Thomas. Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead. Me and him got into the club push. Where they were at. It's just like every like it's a lot. Okay. So 2 months, 3 months, a year, how about? Yeah, about I'm saying no longer than 4 months. 4 months. So they tell y'all be a club crucial, y'all see each other, y'all get into it. We don't even fight, we don't do none of it. The only time I fight was the last time. Okay, but what was that? Monday did his fast. Monday. Okay, go ahead. So, all the time we get into that club, you know what I'm saying? They shoot birds that we shoot back at him. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, we go outside. Don't go on that, don't go about to fight, don't go about to that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just go outside. We leave. Every time I got to the club. But last Monday, we in the club. But this case came, it was Monday. I think it was Sunday before the Monday. But it wasn't Sunday, it was the Sunday before that week. Me and Kel, I seen Kel outside. So I'm like, hey Kel, how did you? So as me and Kel standing right there, we talking. We talking about everything we got against each other. So as we talk, we like, it's over with. They challenge him, come with me. So we like, it's over with, we ain't beefing no more. So Kel, all right, but he want to talk to Thug and see what Thug has to do with it. So like, man, Thug ain't standing jump up, you know what I'm saying? He ain't into this. So he's like, how you want to talk? So him and Thug talk. Whatever they say, I don't know. They say, no, money come, push. As I go to push, I pull out my money. I'm going to stay and flash my money. So I'm good standing around, flashing my money.
That's not inconsistent statement or impeachment, because that is what he said on the stand as well. So why are they playing this bit?
So I get on the stage, I flash money. Tell his whole walk up. I look it up. Like, what's up, bro? I look around, and he saying it. So he just looked at me. So I'm still flashing money. I'm playing with everybody. So he's like, hey, what's up? Like, what's up, bro? He's like, so they want to pay the window. Like, I guess so, bro. But he in the club. Like, go talk to him. You know what I'm saying? So Kid, like, he took his necklace. He put his neck inside. So I look at it. I put money in the pocket. So I put money in the pocket. I walk out. You know, I walk over here. I look at him. So he turned around. He tells somebody something to ear. So I walk towards the kitchen. When I walk towards the kitchen, I was then walking behind. I was by myself. So when I get to the kitchen, I see everybody walking behind. I try to turn around and go back to the stage. Kid punched me in the back of the head. So he punched me in the back of the head. He pushed him to the ground. He pushed him to the ground. He tried to go in my pocket and get my money. But as I hold on to my money, the other guy was punching me out in the face. But I didn't I was holding on to the money. So as they punch me, I get out of it. I run. So they say everybody some more guys knew me. They can't help. So they fight. We go to the club. We got outside the club. Buddy like, I'm like, Buddy like, what's up, man? But I didn't get jumped on me like that, bro. I tried to take the money. So DJ, yeah, the rap DJ, the rap. So I'm like, yeah. So Buddy like, I ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So one of my buddies had Funk Bloody J. So after they Funk Bloody J, we leave the club. Then they have what day is? They Saturday, yesterday, Friday. They have a meeting. The meeting, like it was a blood meeting, and the meeting was about me and Thug. You and Thug, me and Young Thug. But the whole time, I'm telling them like, what Thug got to do with this, bro? Young Thug was just talking. Young Thug was the rapper. I'm like, what he got to do with this? You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to him. Like, he was like, bro, it ain't no beat, bro. Like, I ain't standing out. You know, don't pay me no attention. I'll pay y'all attention. No, I listen, man. But there was a guy that was me. Said, so the guy down the road, Mo, he's supposed to kill me and Young Thug. So I asked, I got 10 minutes on my phone. I text my phone, like, I ain't, bro. Y'all gonna kill me and Thug? I said, let's say, like, ha. And he like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, ain't that like you said? So another guy told me, like, ain't that like you said? I'm like, okay, they just lying. He like, yeah. So next thing you know, okay, after that, he said, so my other buddy like, man, they really don't sound like they didn't let it, there ain't no more beef. They gonna try to get some money. I'm like, bro, look, I talk to Kid, bro. I talk to him once, I talk to him again. I ain't stand with you everything, so they ain't take the money, they don't mean that. So he like, alright, I'm gonna try to get it to him, son. And he like, I don't want to talk. I'm like, well, no, it ain't about that, so I'm still telling like, what's up? Why you gotta get me? What have I done to him? I ain't never talked to none of your friends. I never did anything to him. Why did you get me? And you know, it's a gambling house. I just be it. And we gambling now. You know, that legal. They go and stand on top of the roof and shoot inside. So they stand on the roof shooting inside the building. And then they leave. So they tell everybody the cocktails or whatever. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So because then when we know I go gamble like that. So next thing up. No, nobody seen that, nobody seen that. So the day I been in the house sleeping last night. Like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I was with Doug, we was at DJ Drum Studio. He was doing a song. So we left the studio. I went to my girl yesterday Saturday, I was DJ. The day that, like the Sunday when I was at, the day Sunday, like yesterday, so Friday, like late, like okay, Saturday morning. I went to my girl's house, it was like 5, 6 o'clock. So I was tired, so I went down. Man, I was there, laying up. So I stayed there, I was asleep. Honestly, I was asleep the whole time. So she could go meet her dad and go, he gave her a call, she go to the mom or something. I stayed there the whole time. I didn't go nowhere. I see him. I wake up. I look, she still got that car, that's what she had. She somewhere with her dad and was. I was like, dang, you must have got out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you forgot about here? And she's like, nah, you sleep, this and that. She's like, what you get? I'm still right there. So my brother called me. So he's like, you want to come? I'm like, yeah, bro. He's like, well, yeah, I told him I was at this shot. So he's like, okay, I'll be around. So I called the shot that like, what you did? So she like, how you know like dope? So I like, I just jump over the balcony and
I'm just going to stop here. Raynette, Woody also stated that the detective wanted the Young Thug, so he talked about Young Thug. We see that wasn't a lie. Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. Young Thug wasn't even near Atlanta. He wasn't even in Georgia at the time, if I remember correctly. Or is that the bus incident? That might be the bus incident. But the charges against Mr. Stilwell have been dropped twice. I heard this is way back in the pre-trial Daubert hearings, which I covered back almost a year ago. And Assistant District Attorney Sprinkles, yes, that is his actual name, testified in that Daubert hearing that, yeah, there was no evidence to support the charge, so he dropped it. Or that's the short version. He recommended to the DA in charge of that case that through his investigation, it was garbage. Everybody lies. We can't pin it on anybody. But here we are, 10 years later.
You did not definitely when you come to the house. So she's like, okay, but it was somebody sitting in the room right there where she stayed. When I jumped up, he was walking down the stairs, so he seen me jumping up. You know what I'm saying? So I got up on my brother. I went to his house and changed clothes. You know what I'm saying? So I went to change clothes. To go to your brother's house? Yes. I changed clothes at his house. So what time was that? It's like the beginning of 7 o'clock.
I'm playing this is 1.2.
The clothes I had on to 9 months ago. I got the call. I had rolled to Canville. The girl said they did. The girl moved. She gave me this into peroxide. I put it on my mouth and I went to the green store. I stopped outside like 5 to 10 minutes. I was on the Rick. I got in town to Rick. I had called it deep. Like, what you get? Like, you on Cleveland. I'm about to pull up. So I ride on Cleveland. When I get right about McDonald's on Cleveland, like, he like, well, they say nothing, they got killed, bro. I'm for real, bro. But I really didn't think you get talk. I'm for real, bro. Like, yeah, so I'm like, dang. So I'm like, what? Like, what did you call it? So I'm like, damn, bro, you gonna say I did this right down there? I'm like, damn, you don't say I did, bro. He's like, shit, no whole no, you ain't do it. So I'm like, shit, who is he? Like, he don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, so as I leave them, most of them come like, well, you know, they talk to my me and him, shot them on, most of them. They like, they said, me and him did. You got to know for Moto. Yeah, MOONK. TNOOK, I think. So he was like, they said, hold up for him. So were you here right around earlier today? Nah, I didn't come out to like, I'm gonna say, I came out at 7, don't put it that way, I came out at 7 o'clock, okay. Now, when he FaceTimed me, he told somebody, damn, man, they said, me and him did. Yeah. So, first time I felt like it, bro. They said, I did it, bro. I need to go out to the headquarters of somebody, like, nah, we don't never call you. Like, I told everybody, I didn't have anything to do with it, so I was trying to get the best advice I can. And they know, they're like, I called the girl, I was talking to her before they shot the hustle. And I was talking on the phone. So, I'm getting on right now. Full.
Yeah.
So the number is not broadcast, and I'm going to move it to 3/12/58.
All right.
Oh, y'all still going?
Yeah. Mr. Copeland has no F's to give. Yeah, it could be that his loud mouth exposed the ex parte, that somebody just happened to walk by.
And we're going to start at 3/12/59.
Who dropped you off? There's one time. Yeah, that's one who dropped you off. Come talk to me? Yeah. Blue, it's blue or gray. It's a Malibu. The new.
Course indulgent, waiting for it to feed through Zoom, Your Honor. I'm waiting for it to feed through Zoom and get larger.
Yeah, Robert, watching this video is pure torture. I'm sure the jury is having lots of fun being forced to watch this. Yeah. And these poor jurors, they have to realize, this is going to take forever. Them being in this jury, this will cause, I don't know, divorces, alienation from children, unemployment, just because Fannie Willis wanted to become Attorney General.
Blue or gray, which color is it? It look like it like a light gray. I mean, like a light. It's a color like probably like gray blue. Like gray. It's a Malibu. It's a part of the new kind.
Yeah, thank you, MD Law. It says, I read through the Cawthon case. It references impeachment by specific contradiction. It doesn't help the state. Yeah. And I do also believe it's they were 3 defendants and they used each other's contradictions to impeach them. Whatever it is, it doesn't help the state. So it's a bad statute to reference. But the judge allows it.
It's Apollo Malibu. It might be an Apollo. It's the newest 2015. It's a rental car. Okay. Okay. So he like they can't say man, I'm dead. Something like, but I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you like.
They are talking about the damn rental car again. The rental car that wasn't on the crime scene. That Infinity. That wasn't on the crime scene. And then they invented it was, what was it? Some other light-colored car, which also weren't on the crime scene. We saw the video from the crime scene. That light-colored vehicle was neither an Infinity or the other car. But here we are. We're still going with it. It's so stupid.
You know, we don't got time now. Like, man, you tripping, bro. You can come down. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. So what I did was, I killed it. I mentioned my phone, I show you. I was everybody like, should I go down there, bro? Because I didn't do it. They come scan me, they do everything. I didn't do it. They check the phone, bro. My phone called me, show you where I was, show you every car that I talked first, they show you where I was now. I didn't do it. I never had time with nothing. Ain't never had 2 words to each other. Me and that was always okay. You know what I'm saying? The only person I had a problem with was Kev. I don't have to be with him. When we see each other, they jump me up. When they be with him, don't jump me up. Boy, every time, like me and him, we dedicate each other. But the last time we dedicated each other up, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, what's up, bro? Like, let go. You got him. It ain't no beat. Do what you tell me. But y'all jump on me and take the money. Try to take the money from me, but I ain't letting the money go. But the club on Derek, he seen it on the video. He see I ain't doing that. I ain't studying. He seen me off my club last month. He seen that talk to him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on with Kid, man. Like, when this night, I already told him, girl, I'm like, you need to call the police and have them meet you. Go to your house, because my man was talking to you like he know where she stayed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready to trip, bro. You know what I'm saying? They just come in and be on each other. You know what I'm saying? But he don't join the game. And now he just think he big bad wolf. But the whole time I'm telling him, like, bro, it ain't even that serious, bro. Which game is Count Jordan? 9 Deuce, Inglewood, ABG. That's Blake J. Crew, baby. Did you know Gangster? You know Gangster? You know. Oh, you said, is he a gangster? No, I said, do you know his partner, Gangster? Oh, Blake J. Gangster. Yeah. They just good this play him. Short, stocky, mustache, yeah.
Here's one other thing. It's a confrontation clause. If the state claims he's telling the truth there, how can the defense contradict it? Because he already said on the stand that he was lying. So what does the confrontation clause has to say about it? But yeah, I know it's not really applicable in this, but it should be.
But the whole time they telling like, even when they did that, I wanted to call his phone, but I called the day phone, but he got his phone cut off. Like, he turned it off. Hey, I'm trying to tell him, but I didn't do it, bro. That's what he got it up. That's what. But I know, bro. But he answered. I think kind of the first person I know about it, man. Ain't no you, but they have to try for how they gon' like, you know what? They know my sister how she ain't answer the phone. I'm trying to tell her, you know, she ain't answer. They know my sister. They like, I'm cool with me first. When those everything and put me out in songs and videos. And just saying, they got jealous, man. I honestly, bro, I never did anything to kill, bro. I never, bro. I ain't lying, none of that.
I'm going to pause again, Your Honor, during this portion where the phone number is being read.
I agree with you, Woody. I agree with you. This is so boring.
And for the record, we stopped at 3:17:11, and we're going to fast forward to 3:17:20.
Yeah. As MD Law says, none of this tends to prove what he said here was true compared to his testimony. Nothing. This is just prosecution wanting to play it because this is the star witness in the charge of murder of Donovan Thomas. This is the star witness. This is the guy who is connecting everything, who the jury should trust when the prosecution says he's lying on the stand under oath, but believe him 9 years ago in an interview room. Yeah, Spirited War Exposed. They just want to rerun their examination. Yeah, they already went through all this.
Yeah. Oh.
You reached out to your brother earlier Saturday about you need to get out of the house or get his car or whatever. Okay. And y'all pretty much to catch up until around 7. You and your brother to catch up to around 7, right? Your brother get your keys to the car. Yeah. Okay, I was in the house. Okay. I was at your girlfriend's house? Yeah, I was at your house. Man, like, we stayed there until she put me out on Mulberry Avenue. Come on, yeah, her room, yeah. So, when I woke up, I see she went back and it was dog. I called her like, I say, what time I call? I called her. She like, oh, I'm like, man, you must have got upstairs. Mm-hmm. And she left because her dad was going to get her a car, right? Yeah, she left early. Let me tell you exactly what time I called her, right? Who's Walter Maddox? I called her at 6:20. You called her at 6:20? Yeah. That's the first time I called her, it was 6:20. And then after I called her, I called my brother and it was at 6:28. No, my brother called me at 6:28. Ain't come call. Who's Walter Lee Maddox? Who's Walter Maddox? Huh? Did y'all ever rent or own an Infiniti? Infiniti. Y'all ever rent one of those cars before? Have you ever been stopped in an Infiniti before? Have I? Yeah. Have an accident in an Infiniti?
We already know the Infinity was never near that crime scene. It doesn't really matter. Now, if the prosecution claims he's been truthful here about the Infinity, then how come that Infinity is nowhere near the crime scene? This is the prosecution just, I hope they didn't catch that. Let's repeat it over and over again. This is the I don't know if I should say it on stream. In World War II, there was a somewhat famous German minister of propaganda, can we say. And he said that truth does not matter. If you repeat the lie enough times, it will become a truth. And this is what we are seeing here. The prosecution is promoting a lie over and over and over again in hope that it will become a truth. Yes, reformed convict, but I can't show that name on stream because YouTube doesn't like these things unless I'm the History Channel.
How do you think? Did you? I had coverage in the Pontiac. That was a couple years ago. I ain't had no coverage. I ain't had no rich leads. I ain't never had it. Gotta call your brother, John. Who was that in there? A white Dodge Charger. Just took car he gave me. Just broke get 2 cars. Now the jury got cut in the car. He got the Dodge Charger. Okay. Then she got the little ugly little Malibu. Like 19 something. 2014 Dodge Charger? Yeah. Cool. One. Yeah. We drive a Nissan. A Nissan? Mm-hmm. What color? What color is it? Gray. How about that on Nissan? Okay. Y'all ever had a Infinity gray? A gray Infinity? Q45 before? A truck? No. A cup? Yeah. Like I know. I actually probably maybe his car. Or a red car here rented or something like that.
Yeah, Raynette, thank you. The Pontiac. Yeah, we heard about the Pontiac also because Stillwell was seen with the Pontiac or something of the sort in a gas station. But here's the thing: when they played the video from the crime scene, you could definitely see that that light-colored car was neither a Pontiac or an Infinity. Now, it was a blurry video, but when we looked at the grille, you could see the Pontiac have these horizontal grills. The Infinity doesn't have a grill. It has a mark and then some stuff. That light-colored car in that video from the crime scene had vertical grill. So it was neither a Pontiac nor an Infinity. But here they are still pretending that that didn't happen.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm already in So,
where is Miss Love? I would assume she is at the convent sacrificing baby lambs to Satan. I would assume she's there.
Never had a problem with that. Never in life. Okay. Never cool. Okay. We just had a problem with the cable. Yes. Strap cable. So you pitch it. If you call, no, it's about this, like, kind of start. Okay. You just put your phone down. It was more talk, they dropped you off? Yeah. So we got a call, what's up, guys? And see the color. Grace blue. It's a Camaro right now. This is the way it was at night. Yeah. Who car is that? I think it might be his car. Yeah, who's that tonight? Who's that? Who's that? His name is Dave. He be with nothing yet. Okay. So, little Dave know where your girl mom lives. Like she stays in the neighborhood. He's from somewhere. She stays in the neighborhood. It looks like he took care of his age. I know somebody else who got one. What's his name? What's his name? That was 12. Maybe 12.
Just a friendly reminder, if you're asked to an interview with the police officer, this is not legal advice, this is general advice. I do not give legal advice on this channel. I invoke my Sixth Amendment rights. I want a lawyer, and I am invoking my Sixth Amendment rights to keep my mouth shut until he gets here. That's about it. That's all you need to know. And on my merch store, you can actually have I invoke my Sixth Amendment rights as a doormat. So you can remind yourself, or if you have this friend or relative who is very talkative, that's an amazing birthday or Christmas present for that person. I invoke my Sixth Amendment rights. That way, on the doormat, if you have that loud banging noise on the front door, well, there it is. Yeah. Holding his phone, scrolling his phone, showing his phone, reloading his phone. Jesus Christ, that's a bad criminal. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. That should be my catchphrase. Here's the thing. Phrasing. Don't say that if you meet a woman you never met before. Woody probably knows if he doesn't talk, the cops will try to pin it on him. Because we already know from statements from Detective Velasquez in January or February that he will erase statements until he gets the answers he likes, which is evidence tampering. And when he said that on the stand, and Jesus Christ, how was he allowed to be a cop at all? And now he apparently has a show on YouTube or TV or something where he solves cold cases. I wouldn't go near that because I do not promote crooked cops. Crooked cops. We have too many crooked cops, and even if there are few in numbers, the problem is you have this vast amount of cops that do nothing about them. There's a saying in Germany that if you see a German World War II enthusiast of sorts or at a table, talking, laughing, sharing a dinner with 11 friends, then you have 12 World War II German enthusiasts.
But he had no tattoos on his face, man. He about my color, kind of stuff. And he always wear a BT hoodie. And if it's like people around 50% of like it.
We have roughly 20
this like BT hood on.
break here.
The whole that nigga was
When I do an off up,
Kelvin, I'm gonna agree name, but he kind of said shit Kelvin. So you know the K-L. See, probably. Nah, I ain't cut on off this little charge, man. Yeah. Just put on telly till about 5 minutes, come back on. Let's see, we got what they are. All right. So this all stems from you thinking you did it because you got to fight with Cal Monday. Honestly, I get blamed for everything that happened. Like, my name comes in everything. Everything. Like, this is my first time name ever come in merge, so I didn't know what to do. You know, so you and Monto, y'all was together till later on today. No, we didn't get together. So I called Monto. Monto first told me, and then he like, so I had that conflict. Like, hey, bro, what should I do, bro? Like, cause I had my brother like, wait on for you. I really wanted to come out on my own, and I was like, then when he started showing at the house, I really didn't know what to do. So I tried to invite, like, I Monto come, like, I'm telling Monto, like, what should we do? So like, I told him, I talked to you, he like, I like, bring him down here, you know what I'm saying? He came, brought me right here. You gonna come in? He's like, I wait on him, come. Okay. I wait, it's on you then. Okay. Give me that right back. But okay, I see you on this one. But I did this. What I'm gonna do, bro? I mean, because I know I'm gonna talk to Nut's mother and Kelly's Peanut's brother, right? I'm gonna let her know what the deal is. Okay. All right. So we'll take it from there. Okay. They continue to do, and you see who it is. Okay. Call. If you see them run around the neighborhood and you know what they're about to do, call. Because there's gonna be an alert out for this, okay? I'm telling you, like right now, the only reason I'm scared because I didn't do it, and I feel what I'm saying, that me on my family, you stand to his brother, to extend to them. And my baby talked to Cal, I let him know the same thing. If his mother go maybe give me in contact with Cal, I'll talk to him and see if that is him and his crew doing that. It is. I'm not gonna see him. It's him. Let me ask you this, to be honest. Do you belong to the game? I was. They were, like, they said, man, I'm talking about, it's supposed to be about me not being down with it no more. But he really don't know, he don't really know what it is, because he's like, hey, me. Okay, so you got APG. Yes. But it was in 2000, I had went to jail this time. I think it's 2015 now. I went to jail in 2013, 12. I went to jail in 2012. I did a year. But when I went to jail in 2012, I didn't get down with the game. So I went in. So he got a 2013 for no. I never told him. I going around and I went playing. Okay. You know, so now they think we're through. And they don't play what I say. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's real. So I'm getting some money. I mean, that's what we told Cookie. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it's about. But that's what you're supposed to see. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I switched up on them. So I got you. Yeah, so they got the ass with you. But I know that they saying like, I didn't know them, I did something. I know that, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to go to jail, I ain't trying to go to nobody, none of this. Ain't never had a problem. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, I will show it to you. A person come on my picture, my person says, you gonna die tonight. They come on my picture and say, your Instagram? Yes. So you gonna die. What's your Instagram page? WOODY372. WOODY372. Say, I'm gonna die tonight. But then she deleted the country by a screenshot. Mm-hmm. So when she deleted, I still took pictures of her. Yeah, it was a girl. Her name was Maya. Prince. It was something Maya. So when she come and said, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. And then she deleted. Okay. But I still got a screenshot on my phone, it went dead. Okay. I was supposed to show it to you later. Give me 1 second, right back to that. Okay. Yeah.
The United States going to pause here at 3:32:15 and fast forward it to when Detective Thor re-enters the room.
Jesus Christ. I don't find anything in that interview interesting, and especially I don't find anything in that interview that says he was telling the truth then and lies now, or vice versa. And so skipping right up to this, it is, and you know what's waiting. Sidebar counter 213. Jesus Christ. And They are on lunch. Which means I will do the rest as a recap. Here's the thing. Tomorrow, I told you earlier, I have an early start at 5 a.m. I'm going driving until I get to the destination at 8 a.m. and then I will conduct a negotiation. I don't know if that will be done by lunch or if it will be done by afternoon so I can get back in time here. I'm not even sure I get back. So I have to stay the night because it could get fast. Some negotiations are easy, some negotiations are a pain in the butt. So I really don't know if I'm able to get back in time. Maybe if I stay on the hotel room, then I might use the hotel Wi-Fi and make something at least, but I'm not sure yet. Not sure yet. But for this time, thank you for showing up, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to translate this fustercluck of a trial. Thank you. Give a thumbs up, do the subscription thingy, and all the things. Now I need to get to bed because in just about 7 hours, my alarm bell goes off. I am going to send you over to, let's see, Broken Baker. He's Danish, but don't hold that against him. And he's conducting the Karen Reed case. He is covering that one. So off you go over there. And, well, you know what? Hug your family, folks. Unless your family is crap, then screw them and give your love to the people who deserve it. Okay? I will see you tomorrow or Wednesday. Okay? Bye-bye.
Fighting for justice, 60 rows of defenders of the skies, defying the odds, feeding on the high, to free these young souls from eternal night. Defending the voiceless, the wrongly accused, facing the foe whose motives are abused. In the courtroom battlefield, they'll stand tall, unveiling corruption, they'll conquer it all. Against the corrupt prosecutor's wrath, with words like weapons cutting like a path, challenging the system that's filled with lies, seeking truth with justice